Hello, I'm Talou. Welcome back. I am out in my desert yard watering my plants. My significant other is making some sort of wood project. And I just thought I'd pop in and say hi. It's a gorgeous night in Arizona. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be talking about, but I felt compelled to just sign on and start recording, see what happens. So I am in the middle of nature. Let me see if I can turn this around. Ooh, it's got water dripping all over me. All right, so this is like amazing. We have a cool mountain behind us. And this is a cool wash that I have at my house. And it's just gorgeous. And I'm in here in my wash, recording. I'm watering, actually. Sorry, recording came second. But I'm watering. I often connect with nature. There's a lot of cactus. Like we have a jumping cholla, a couple of them on the property. Our neighbors have tons of them. We kind of trim ours up so it kind of is not so unruly, but you know, most of our neighbors are like, oh, it's the desert. Let them be how they want to be. Anyhow, so there's jumping cholla, pups, what they call pups, everywhere. And I am a barefoot person, but I also haven't been barefoot in like for a long period of time. I grew up never wearing shoes. Like if we went to a restaurant and I had to put shoes on because it was that kind of restaurant, I was like, oh man. But I was still excited to go. So I love being barefoot in nature. I didn't know until I was much older that it actually has a medicinal value of grounding your energy to the earth. Just like if you have a house or any kind of structural building, they want you to have a ground connected, built into the structure you're building, so that if electricity, I don't know, if it's wired wrong, the electricity has a place to go and bury itself in the earth instead of hopefully not finding you as the source that that it's seeking out. So it'll always travel downward is what I am told. So they have grounds, and anyhow, that's what we do when we are barefoot on the earth, is we ground ourselves. So let me show you what I'm doing here. I have no idea, but let's just do it anyways. All right. So, oh my God, why not look at the plants over my face? I would take these plants over my face any day, even these poor little dried out ones. So normally people living in the desert, like we are, typically don't purposely go out and manually water their property, but I don't know. I think it's my property. I'm taking care of it. I'm just kind of, I have stewardship over this land right now. I'm being blessed to be able to take care of it. So I'm going to take care of it. And if I think this desert plant needs freaking water, I'm going to take my hose that is coming from well water. It's not city water. It's literally 600 feet underneath the desert floor that we had built, had dug out, and had contracted out. And we have an abundance of water. So it goes back. Any waste, runoff, it goes straight back into the earth, filters through the various layers of the earth until it hits some sort of water under earth reservoir. And So it's this really cool ecosystem. Actually, I was thinking about it this week. Is, the evaporative component of this water that I'm now watering with. It can evaporate into the sky and collect in the sky, and that's what your clouds are made of, is water. And then it could go into the earth, and if some sort of root system, like plants that I'm watering here, don't quickly capture the moisture, then the water will continue to draw towards the center of the earth, which is the gravitational pull, and it will continue going down, down, down until it reaches probably, I don't know what's its settling point. I don't know if it finally stops when it actually runs out of bulk of water, or does it stop when it finally hits water, like a big underground river type of thing? I don't know myself. But I sure love being out here with my plants and watering them. Let's see if you can see how dry they are right now, because it's very dry. And I'm just hoping to just give them some water and give them some water that they can drink up, sustain a little bit more life force instead of struggling in our Arizona heat, which it got to about 103 where I live, which that's actually not really hot. It seems hot for anybody outside of Arizona, but it's really not that hot because we are very arid, meaning we do not have a lot of moisture in our air, as opposed to, let's say, some place on the coastal line. They have a lot of humidity. Sometimes they're very hot states as well, right? We don't have that here. So I can go outside in 103. I can do a little sweating because I'm outside in the heat. My body starts to sweat. We have a beautiful, probably 3 to 7 mile an hour breeze here. And it like acts as evaporative cooling, if you know what evaporative cooling is, that some people put in building structures to keep the air cool, and it only really works in non-humid places, non-humid environments. So Arizona is a perfect place for evaporative cooling. Anywho, I just love being out here. I just kind of ground myself to the earth. Where I was getting with the pricklies is, and being barefoot, there's so many pricklies out here, and my feet are tender, so I haven't struck up the nerve to actually go barefoot in this wash that I'm standing in. Maybe someday. I just love it out here, and I get to hear the birds. I feed the birds too. It's kind of more, I give them treats. I don't feed them on the daily because I don't want them to get used to it. But I do, the birds that I do hang out in my area, I do want to give them a treat every once in a while. So that's what I like doing. We are living on our land out in the desert as we build our house. It's pretty cool. My significant other is building it with his own 2 hands. He's done, 95% of the work himself. The only part that we've really had a contractor come in that he didn't assist with the part of the cement work is of course we don't make our own cement, so we purchase cement, and I don't know how many trucks we had show up on our property. We have a very big slab that we had to pour, and because this beautiful little river bottom, or not river bottom, it's a water drain, a wash, that's what it is, a desert wash, because it's officially on the map, we had to do extra reinforcement of cement here in the county requirements of being around such washes. So they didn't want us to have 100-year flood and somehow we get flooded out and our house comes crumbling down. But let's turn this around. All right, so back to me. Oh, I'm sorry you have to look at my face. Anyhow, so we're building on the lot that we're living on, and I actually really love it. It's some of my friends that I have here and there, mostly females. They're like, "Oh my God, how would you do that? How are you living like that?" Um, uh, and I find it very enjoyable. We live in an RV on our land, and it's not really like glamping. It's much more than that. The RV is very nice and luxurious and gorgeous and very foo-foo in my opinion, you know. But that's what we're living in, and we're building like a cool structure, a barn dominium. One day, maybe I'll be able to invite some of you people to a welcoming party. That would be exciting. I do have big plans for this land. I do feel it is blessed. I'll try to tell this story. I probably mentioned it before, but I'll tell it again. And hopefully I'll not cry because I'm very emotional right now. It's very cool, like very tuned in, like in a good emotion feeling. But my land here is, I went for a little nature walk. We have some cool hiking trails near me, and I went for a very quick hike, and it was beautiful weather. It was a couple months ago, and then I was coming around the corner, coming back to my house. I was done with my hike, and then it was a cloudy day. Like, there were big, beautiful, puffy, white clouds, kind of like cartoonish clouds, everywhere in the sky, and still blue skies. So that's one of the lovely things about Arizona desert is our skies. Just gorgeous clouds that make you happy. You're like, oh, why are you in the sky? It's so weird that you're in the sky. What are you doing up there? So they just must be having a happy time. Anyhow, so I come back around towards the house, around the corner, and I'm enjoying the cloud formation. I look up above my house, because now my house is in view, and there is this magnificent white, puffy, heart-shaped cloud just literally hanging what seemed to be a few, maybe 100 feet or maybe 200 feet above my house. It looked weird. It looked oddly close, but when I saw it, my heart just melted, like, oh my God, because some of the things that I was having a conversation with my higher self on my nature walk and the plants and everything else around it, I was just having a great connection to the earth. And then I see this cloud. Maybe I'll try to post it as maybe like the ending picture. I definitely got tons of pictures. It's just so gorgeous. It couldn't have been any more perfect of a heart. It was so big and puffy, and it was just like talking to me. And I stood away from my house and going, oh my God, having those thoughts, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is so gorgeous. And I'm gonna cry again. And I definitely shed a few tears of joy, like, wow, this is so beautiful. This is nature talking back to me. Was just like a cool experience, right? So I was having those thoughts. And then all of a sudden, the wind picked up and gusted a little bit, and it moved the entire heart in the weirdest direction. It moved in, what would that have been? It would have had to move from my house in a southeast direction. the wind was not historically blowing southeast at that point. It was blowing west, from the west to the east, but this like turned to the south to get to me, came right over my head and just stayed there. It was, I cannot tell you what a freaking cool experience that was. So that was many messages to me. One have been for sure confirmation of, hey, I need to be looking up in the sky more often. I need to connect more to the sky, not just the earth. You know, we're all in this together. It's just not. Let me see if I can get the sunset. We're just not in all of our equipment back there. Oh, it may not be a beautiful sunset from this view the way it works. Maybe I'll turn it around a little bit when it's prettier and brighter. But that was my message to say, hey, we're all in this together. This entire sky, everything. It's literally like a biodome, the very largest biodome probably that our minds could imagine. But that's what we're living in, so that it means you have the sky, Teresa, to talk to as well. Not just your plant friends, not just your earth friends, your rocks. I've always been a rock hound since I was a little girl. The only thing that I wanted for my birthday forever was a pet rock. They had advertised pet rocks on TV, and up to that point, I don't know if I really thought, I actually don't know what I thought about rocks prior to that, seeing that commercial. But clearly when they were advertising pet rocks for sale, it was around the holiday time frame, you know. I was like, pet rocks? Pet rocks? I love this. And I became instantly in love with the idea of pet rocks. So at a very young age, I had an affinity for rocks. Kind of a very interesting perspective on them. So I've been a rock hound ever since. I love just picking up, now with their permission. Before I, of course, didn't know to get their permission. I pick them up and I talk to them. I look at them. I appreciate them. Sometimes I put them down back where I found them. Sometimes I could relocate them. I don't know. It was just going with whatever I was feeling at the moment. And sometimes I would take them home. Now I ask to take them home. I'm going to assume that the rock beings knew about me coming. They anticipated that I would be picking potentially them up, and that I could potentially be taking them home, and they agreed to that because, you know, in this world of manifestations, law of attraction is what you attract is attracting you, right? It's a perfect marriage. So the rock that I picked up and took home and put on my shelf or kept in my car, and I look at it and pet it every single day. It's an interesting relationship. I just love them so much. I love touching them. Anyhow, so that rock that I picked up to take home and took home, it knew that ahead of time, and it agreed to be my friend from then on out, right? Let's see the sunset. Oh, let's see. I'll try to turn this around. Let's see. Let's try to turn it around a little bit here. Yeah. Oh boy, I'm getting myself wet. Ugh, gross. Okay, let's see. We have an amazing saguaro. Oh my god, I got myself so wet. We have an amazing saguaro cactus forest here in my neighborhood. It's part of that. And this is one of those interesting conversations, by the way. Try to push it to the limits. I have a pretty pretty moon. Let's see if you can see it. Boom. Pretty moon. Love it so much. I'll have to come out here in the morning to finish my water job. We have a tortoise, a very big tortoise, probably weighs, she probably weighs 50 pounds. It's the cicada tortoise. And they love the desert heat. She really doesn't care for the cold. So I gotta move her area because we've got to do the next construction of the groundwork on our property. And I've got to move her big enclosure. I have a nice big desert enclosure for her with a underground burrow. This new space that she'll be in there a little bit longer than she was in this location. This was very temporary, but it's still a nice enclosure for a cicada. Funny story. It was in 2012, the winter of 2012. My then oldest daughter brings home a hatchling tortoise. And I think we're having a Christmas party, a big one. And of course she timed it perfectly. Kudos to her. Genius thinking. She couldn't possibly make a scene in front of all these people. You know, she's always told us, no, we can't have any animals. And here I am bringing home a tortoise. So she brings home the tortoise, has it in the palm of her hand. It is literally fits in the palm of a teenager's hand. That's how small it was. And she says, oh, look. Look what pet I just got. I'm bringing home this tortoise. And this will be our new pet. And I just looked at her like, oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't know anything about cicadas, I don't think, at that time. But I did love Galapagos, so I did know about Galapagos and their lifespan and all that kind of jazz and their size commits and stuff. But I quickly Googled the lifespan of this cicada tortoise, and I'm like, oh my God, they could live 100 years. Kudos to them. Good for them. But, oh my God. I'm already old. What are we going to do with the tortoise for that long, right? And she's a older teenager, but you know how when kids get pets, they typically aren't the one that takes care of the pet. The parent ends up taking care of the pet. And I knew going into this arrangement, allowing her to keep it, or allowing her to get any pet, and that's why I didn't want pets before, because I knew I'd be the one taking care of it, and I already had my hands full with a family, so I didn't need another life to take care of. But anyhow, so I thought quickly, and I'm like, maybe it's time. She did get it already. She brought it home. Let's go ahead and keep it. So we kept it. So I'm pretty sure since 2013, I have definitely been the main caretaker of this tortoise. As it aged, definitely made sure it all had its food, water, decent living arrangement, protected from like the cold elements, and protected from if it got really too hot. I would go shop for its food type of stuff, right? And so I've been taking care of this tortoise. So kind of, it's my tortoise now. My daughter, same daughter, now she's much older, of course. We've all are much older since 2012. It's 2025 now, for any future watchers of this video. So my daughter has had the tortoise at her house. I don't know, maybe a year, if I had to say, maybe a year, but it just didn't work out with the way the family was the family's needs, the family's travels. Um, um, Her husband really didn't like the tortoise, um, and I never stood that because this tortoise, it is like a very slow moving dinosaur, very very cool, like an herbivore dinosaur that, as you watch cartoons on, you're like, oh, that would be the perfect pet. This is this tortoise. It's 50 pounds now. I can barely carry it, because she is so big, and she's sweet. Um, she's motivated by food. Food. She likes food. We give her. She loves cucumbers. Well, I mix it up anyways, but she loves it. I've been taking care of it now. Now we have a tortoise that's gonna live, if it's lucky, 100 years. So is it 15 years? Whatever the math is. Don't make me do the math on TV. I'm not gonna do it. I'm thinking about too many things. I know it's a simple math problem, but I can't do it. For some reason, my brain doesn't work that way with math. Ugh. I don't know what my issue is with numbers. It is weird. Like, I do not comprehend numbers. I like the way they look, but when it comes to using them in math, formulas or even simple math, I'm like, ugh, I have to go back and remember. It's kind of weird. Stupid. Really stupid, if you ask me. What is happening with my brain and these numbers? Okay, this is what makes sense to me. I said, okay, wherever I come from, whatever planet, whatever species I'm a hybrid from, maybe numbers do not even make sense to them. They don't have no concept of numbers. And so, yeah, that's what I'm going with. Instead of thinking that I'm just incapable of learning numbers, because I'm like a 55-year-old woman, and it's dumb that I still struggle with simple arithmetic. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was a store accountant. I go after problems that I have problems with, and I definitely work to achieve good outcomes. So I was a successful store accountant. I love that job, actually. Loved using the 10 key. God, I loved using the 10 key. Now I'm wondering, since the sun is going down, now I'm wondering, when do the rattlesnakes come out? We definitely have rattlesnakes. We have other snakes too. I'm not afraid of snakes in general, especially if they're non-venomous. I love snakes. I'm just waiting to see a non-venomous snake on my property so I can go pick it up. Quite honestly, that's my mentality. I love it. I did not tell anybody except for Justin, and then maybe I sent something to my siblings and my kids about it, but I sent them a text. I haven't talked to anybody about it. Oh my God. I checked off a bucket list item. I have always wanted to interact with a coyote pup. Like, I always knew that it would be difficult if I saw a coyote pup to not want to take it home and take care of it and make it its pet, make a pet of it. That is, what do they call that? There's a guy on Instagram that does, I don't know if it's crazy white women or white women something. He's very funny. He's like a comedian, and he captures all these videos of Caucasian women, but he calls them white women. He captures all these existing videos that are online of these women doing crazy stuff with animals. Like, they're typically rescuing them or helping them out in some way or taking them home. A lot of them take them home, right? And he showcases those type of videos, and then he does his comedy skit commentary around them, and he doesn't do it in a mean way. He actually appreciates these women. It's more like he's in awe. The tenacity and the balls that these women have in these videos. Like, there's not a lot of women in other cultures that would be like that. I think maybe Indian women are more like that, maybe. I don't know. I don't know a lot about other cultures and specifically what they think about animals. But anyhow, where was I going? I really got off track with that one. Anyhow, my bucket list item, coyote. Bucket list item was to see and interact with a coyote pup. I did that. I was driving out of my neighborhood on my little dirt road, and it was like early in the morning, and not too early. The sun was already up. It was very bright and still cool though. And right in front of me, maybe 100 to 150 yards in front of me, was this little puppy. You could definitely see it was a puppy. And then as I got closer, and I was driving slow because I'm like, what the frick is a puppy doing out here? What is going on? As I got closer, which didn't take me much long length to get closer because I was so close already. I was like, oh my God, that is a coyote puppy. Are you freaking kidding me? And then its butt end was to me, and then it jumped up in the air like if it was catching butterflies. How you've seen little puppies jump in the air like that? It jumped in the air and then spun around and then looked at me and then did another like half jump. Like, oh, I want to do another jump again, but that full jump, I don't know. Like, it was looking at me and still debating whether I was safe or not because I have a big truck. And it was debating whether I'm only putting imaginary words in its mouth, but it looked at me like, and then did the half jump, like if it was like, is this friend or foe, right? And then it landed, and then it stood there and went like that, and was like, hey, and did a Scooby-Doo moment, and tucked its tail behind its buttocks, and turned around, and then headed to where I assume its mother put it while it's out hunting, or maybe it's den. I have no idea how they live and keep their puppies, but anyhow, that was so cool. And that it just sauntered off to its, what I'll call its den area. Oh my God, it was the most magnificent thing in the entire year. I mean, and I've had some pretty fabulous things happen to me in the last 12 months, but that is definitely a bucket list item. Wow. It is forever a place in my heart as a state of joy. Like, literally a state of joy. I can think of that interaction. And it definitely looked straight at me, assessed me, and was like, whoa, I better get home. And so it sauntered. It was, and I hope for sure, I hope that its parents just had it in its den. I would say it was like a 9 to 12 week old pup if I compare, that breed of animal to domesticated dogs and do like a rough estimate. It was probably 9 to 12 weeks old, probably more on the 12-week-old. So it was probably too young to go out and hunt yet. It definitely looked too young to go out and hunt. I'd be shocked if they go hunting at that age. And then it was too old to want to stay safe and sound in the burrow, hiding out wherever it's hiding out. It was like, I'm going to go out. They could make a cartoon out of it, right? A movie out of it. I'm going to go out and check out this world. Mama said stay home, but I'm going to go anyways. Ha ha! I'm a big boy now, or I'm a big girl now. I don't know what sex it was. But it could totally hear it saying that, and I actually had a freaking amazing day. I was going into work, had an amazing day, just an amazing day. The rest of that day was magical, actually. All right, my sun is going down. Let's see. I'm trying to turn that off so I stop getting super wet. Let's see if I can turn this. That's my sunset. That's a pretty one. It's pretty mellow. Normally we have lots of clouds everywhere, and which make fantastic colors. All right, so it's getting pretty dark. This would be considered dusk. And I think I will be closing down this recording. It was such a pleasure to talk to myself in this recording. And maybe, hopefully, somebody else has listened to this conversation. Take care. Peace and love.